So let's talk a little bit about willpower and motivation. I mean, you've probably heard that a million times already that willpower and motivation are your golden tickets to achieving goals. But the truth is, the more study you look into the topic, the more you realize that those two are actually far from reliable. And here's why. So, willpower and motivation are basically emotions, they're not constant states. They go up and down rapidly. You can get sad now, angry later, feeling demotivated the next day, sad, and then your physiology has a factor in it, and that's not reliable for long-term progress or consistency because it spikes up and down. And number one, that just leads you relying on those just leads you to live a life of an emotional roller coaster. So you can think about it as it like willpower and motivation, it changes like the tide. It's high in one moment and gone on the next, and it's easily influenced by a lot of other factors, especially other people or just circumstances around you. You might wake up one day full of energy, ready to conquer the world, and the next day you can't even find the motivation to get out of bed. That's the reality of motivation. It's not a steady fuel source. It is romanticized to a level of stupidity. And the next one is that willpower is not infinite. And that might be a shocker to some people, but willpower isn't limitless. It's like a battery that drains throughout the day. There's like a level of energy of willpower that you have every day. And every decision that you make or anything that causes friction in your life in every day, that chips away at your willpower. And by the time evening rolls around, you're often left with an empty tank. Like that's why you tend to notice in people that their discipline starts strong during the morning and then starts fizzling out at night. That's willpower depletion. Now, the main problem why you shouldn't be relying on them when it comes to the most important things and goals in your life is that when you're solely dependent on them, what happens when they fade? So people start hunting ways for how to boost motivation, thinking that that is the solution. But it's always a temporary fix. It's like patching up a leaky boat. It might hold for a while, but soon enough you're sinking and you're just gonna sink again. That's inevitable. That's why people choose their goals and they start chipping away at them. And then eventually, when things get hard and emotional levels are not great and their willpower starts draining over time, and then they just fade out and they just be like, oh, it's just another one of those goals that I have that I didn't reach. I'm such a failure. But there's a better way to do that. And we'll talk about that in the next video.